Hello, this is a message for our lovely patrons. If you're not currently a patron, feel free to check back later. But we have some good news for you guys. Justin, tell them about the great news.
Sean, I'm so excited about this.
Mm-hmm.
It's been probably about a year since I talked about it because it took Patreon that long. But we are finally able to switch from a per creation billing model to a monthly subscription model for Patreon. That just makes me so excited for a number of reasons, as you know. But Sean, why don't you tell our patrons a little more about it?
Yeah, I think the background is probably important here. Obviously, our little entity, our little venture, our little community has evolved immensely throughout the years that we've been doing this. We set our Patreon up when we were just a podcast, and that is all we had in mind. And it was the idea of a per creation cadence made sense. Obviously, we have grown. Our tendrils extend much farther than that at this point. And it's just kind of become a little. I mean, even beyond what we're doing, I suppose it bears mentioning that your average Patreon creator just uses a monthly model. That's kind of the baseline. So in many ways, it makes sense for us to move to a monthly subscription basis, just to be far more straightforward and predictable, really.
Yeah, it's also something that, separate from us getting this rolling, as it's already in process and will be rolling out over sometime in the next month or so. We don't actually know when it will be happening, but you'll all see the change. We'll send a message in Patreon when it happens. But Patreon is making every creator make this switch eventually because of some of their ongoing discussions with Apple. So it's, again, just the way of the world and the way it's heading. But we're excited about it because it helps us with some of the administrative side of things, and we really think it will help all of you based on what we've heard from you about how easy it will be to keep track of things.
Yeah. And as a quick aside, any Apple users might want to look into Apple and Patreon and the things going on there. We'll obviously talk about it when it becomes a little bit more immediate to what we're doing. But if you're on Apple, just go ahead and take a look.
Take a quick little Google of that.
Take a quick little Apple of that, and maybe hot take, consider switching off of Apple. But just don't burn down my house. Justin, tell them cool things so they forget what I just said.
Yes, the coolest of all things is you don't need to do anything right now if you don't want to. So with the upcoming shift, aside from the Apple thing Sean mentioned,
No, I never said it.
Yeah. Okay. When we've been talking to Patreon about this, they have assured us that you do not need to make any changes. So what will be happening, you will notice some changes, though, on our page. Because we've been billing on a per creation basis and typically putting out 2 creations per month, Patreon is going to automatically double the tiers of our spend. So what that means is the $1 tier will become, or a $1 per creation tier will become a $2 per month tier. That's just what they're doing. They have to apply it to all of our tiers across the board. It's an automatic thing. We don't really have control over that. But for those of you who have put a cap on what you spend on Patreon, so if you were at the $1 per creation level, but you said Patreon cap my spend at just $1 a month, no matter how many creations they put out, that cap, we have been told, will still hold. So even though it will show you in the $2 tier going forward, it should still only bill you $1 per month. Now, again, that's how it should work. So once this shift happens and you see that it has changed and you get a message from us, please double check. It's not a thing we can actually control, but we want to make sure everyone is being billed the appropriate amount. And so if you have questions about that as it happens, please let us know. Also, because everything is doubling, but one of our popular tiers is the $1 option, and some people do cap that. And let's say someone leaves for a bit and comes back, they won't be able to put that same cap on. We're going to be re-adding a $1 tier. So it will be a whole new thing. But if there is anyone who's a patron and is worried about how this will change for them, we're going to be adding another $1 tier back. It'll just take a little bit of time after the change. But don't worry, we see that that's an important thing that people want to use. So we will definitely be putting it out there for you.
Yeah, and obviously, talking about tiers and moving to different tiers and different structures, obviously, we appreciate any support you guys give us. We started doing this for free and enjoying it. We get to do it now and have lovely people offer us support, and we get to do radical things with that support. We're throwing BusterCon 2 in a month. We get to commission art, we get to commission swag. It's great. I just have so much thankfulness in my heart for all of you patrons who decide to offer us support. So obviously it was true before, it will be true after this switch. Any support you give us is greatly received and appreciated. And we love you guys. So you enable us to keep doing wild and wacky things.
Yeah. Yep. And I will just echo that. We love you all. We do truly appreciate it. And as I think all of you know, and if not, we'll tell you here, we put the support back into the podcast. It's not us, making a profit off it or anything. We put it back into the Arkham community because we think that's the best use of it. So any support is appreciated. And with that, I think if you are a patron at any level other than our Chief Officers of Waiting, the $15 per creation, or the board member level, the $20 per creation, you can use this as your point to go ahead and stop listening here and get some time back in your day. We have a few more things we need to preview for individuals in those tiers, but for everybody in all the other patron tiers, we've covered the information, and we will be sending another note as soon as Patreon tells us the migration is complete.
And for those of you who are out of reach of your pause, stop, or next track button, enjoy.
And now, listening to our dulcet tones as we continue to talk logistics on K-Myth 01. Doesn't quite work, but it was close.
I mean, I'm into it.
Yeah. All right. So, Chief Officers of Waiting, those who have been at our $15 per creation tier, which has mainly served as the really holding level for people who wanted to join our board because we had capped the number of people who could be on the board. And if you were in the Chief Officers of Waiting tier, that allowed you to get the swag we produced for events and so forth. We are opening up the board. At this stage of life of our podcast, our entity, all of that, it doesn't really make sense anymore to artificially limit who wants to be on the board. Especially when many people join the Chief Officers of Waiting to join the board because they wanted the swag. The $15 Chief Officers of Waiting tier doesn't serve a purpose in the new world once we're able to shift over to this monthly subscription model. So that will be going away. If you are in that tier, please change. The board is open now. Please feel free to either jump up to the board, or if you need to downgrade your membership. You know what? Let's not even call it a downgrade. That's just the word I'm used to.
It's a lateral move.
Yeah.
Or restructuring.
Restructure. I like that. So if you are at the Chief Officers of Waiting level right now, the board is open, and you can go ahead and jump up to that level if you want. Or you can further restructure your membership and move to a different level with lower spend. Whatever works for you. Again, we want this to be something that you're comfortable with and that works for your finances and the support you want to provide. Just know that we are going to be getting rid of that level, so we do need everyone to change their membership. The sooner you can do it, the better. That avoids any situation down the road where then we have to go in and send you a message and be like, hey, if you don't move, they won't let us close this tier. We have to temporarily, and I'm using air quotes here, ban you, because it's just a system thing. Again, we only control so much.
It's just the only mechanism we have to end it.
Yeah. Yep. But that one's going away. But again, good things, because the board is now open. You can jump up there, still get the event swag we produce, the general swag we produce. So that's, I think, everything for Chief Officers of Waiting. Thank you for all of you who have been in that tier and put up with the acronym of cows that I think Scott was the one who came up with it.
It's a good guess that it was Scott.
Yeah. So if you loved it, Sean and I came up with it. If you weren't okay with it, it was definitely Scott.
Definitely.
Yeah. All right. Board members. So we've got a few more things on the list for you, in addition to letting you know that we are opening up the board to anyone who would like to join. First of all, thank you all so much for all the support you provide. Mm-hmm. I mean, I know we call that out as often as we can on episodes, but we do really, really appreciate all the support that y'all provide. It's also just really heartening to us that so many of you want to put your money toward supporting us in this way so we can do the neat things that we get to do. I mean, your support is a large part of the reason BusterCon is happening. It's just so cool. So the changes for you, in addition to the board opening up. After the migration is complete, so based on the automatic shift that will happen right now where the board is at $20 per creation, it will at first display as $40 per month. We're going to be changing that and actually reducing that. And so bear with me for the explanation of why. Right now, even though most board members do get billed twice a month, we actually need to scale back one of the benefits for board members. So we're going to be reducing the board tier to $30 per month. So $10 less than what most board members were contributing right now. And the reason is that the board benefit of getting an extra piece of board-specific swag, we just can't keep up with it. I'll actually raise my hand and show you behind the curtain a little bit more. I can't keep up with it, especially with the board opening up a little more. So we wanted to make sure that with that going away, we were returning an adequate amount of value for you. So it's a bit of a trade-off. But two important clarifications with that. It only affects the extra piece of board swag each year. If you are a board member, you're still getting the event swag or other swag that we produce each year. We're still shipping it to you if you can't attend events. That's not changing. This is just that extra piece of swag with... what do we usually do with that one, Sean? It's the Buster's logo with the monocle, right?
Yeah, with the monocle.
Yeah. So that will be going away. But additional important clarification is we are still going to be doing 2024 board swag for anyone who qualified before we sent out this announcement. So anyone who is a board member in good standing with a current subscription for at least 3 months before now. So don't worry, 2024 board swag is still coming through. It's just going to be going forward. And so that'll line up nicely with the change in spend. So again, sorry if that's disappointing to anyone, but it's very much the reality of that we can't keep up with it. And we want to make sure that we're not spreading ourselves too thin, or we're not charging you for something you aren't getting. So then we wanted to change the spend a commensurate amount.
I mean, ultimately, if we're doing something, we want to feel like we're doing a good job with it, and we don't. We just what Justin said, we're spread a little thin at the moment, so we want to trade value on that.
Yeah, and again, we appreciate y'all so much, and it's just we never want it to feel like you're sending money our way where you're like, oh, what are they doing with it? Like, no, we're putting it into the community. We're hoping you feel like you get the value out of it. You hope the swag is cool. If you have any thoughts on it or questions, please always feel free to reach out as well. Mm-hmm. And then now the caveat to all those important notes. So we're decreasing the cost of the board tier for now, but in the future, if we are producing some sort of amazing swag that just vastly changes the financial outlay of how much it costs to produce the swag or other things, we may increase that again. But in those cases, we will have so much notification out to you ahead of time. You will know why we are doing it. I promise if we do that for anything, the swag or other associated things will be so awesome, you will be okay with it. But it's just, this is what's right for right now. And so we want to do right by all of you. Yep. And I believe that is it. So yeah, it's a lot of dry logistics and changes, and thankfully it's the only time we should have to do it. But if anyone at any level of patronage, if you've stuck with us at this point, even though you're not at the chief officer's wing or board members, and you just love the sounds of our voice, and you now have questions at the end, send them our way. We want to make sure you're all good with this change as well, and that we're just a really supportive community. You of us of you. And yeah, Sean, any closing thoughts?
We love you all.
Yeah.
We appreciate how you've helped us get to where we are, and we look forward to where we go in the future. So we appreciate everyone riding out the transition with us. We know it's not all like as smooth as we all would hope it would be, but
yeah.
yeah.
All right. Excellent. Well, thanks everybody.